Ladies of the day, a hearty welcome to the EliteConf. I am Ram Menon. I'll be the moderator for the session today. Let me give you a quick snapshot of what we intend to achieve via this conference. Our primary goal of this conference is to create awareness and help Amazon sellers to start, boost sales, and to protect the marketplace business. We invited some keynote speakers like yourself to educate the viewers on various topics. Currently, with the modern digitization, there seems to be a constant rise in online frauds in various forms. As a business owner, it's not only scary, but also something we should definitely keep an eye out for. Mr. Rosenbaum, we would like to talk about how we can protect your business from hackers and black hat tactics. To remind you, we are an online conference helping Amazon sellers to start, scale, and protect their flourishing business. It is important for an entrepreneur to protect their business along with ensuring growth. Hence, today we will talk again about how to protect your business from hackers and black hat tactics. For this session, we have CJ Rosenbaum, an eminent person in the field of helping Amazon sellers. He is the founder of Amazon Sellers Lawyer and fights for the right for Amazon sellers. He's been practicing law for the last 20 years and has been successfully authored 3 books in this field. Let's hear from CJ and how he feels about the situation for Amazon sellers today. Hey CJ, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really great. Thank you very much for allowing me to participate in this fantastic program.
Perfect. CJ, let's get right started away. You can share your presentation and let's get this rock and rolling.
Sounds great. All right, let me get the screen share going here. And it's really timely to talk about, let me get the screen here, to talk about black hat tactics, because here in the States and specifically in New York, just over the last couple of days, there's been a tremendous amount of news and problems with people who are hacking each other's listings and then paying bribes to Amazon or supposedly paying bribes. So for sellers out there, don't ever get involved in that kind of stuff. One, it's a crime. Number two, it's not going to help you. You're going to get caught. You lose your account. So I'm really happy to talk about the proper ways to protect your business from hackers and also from black hat tactics. So I created this slideshow, and I'm going to talk about this foundation on the upper right at the very end of the conference. It's really, really a great program that Amazon has for charities all over the world. Okay, so let's get right into it. How to protect your business from hackers and black hat tactics. Hold on a second here. Sorry about that. All right, so I'm really blessed that we have a tremendous, tremendous team here. I don't work by myself. I'm only the best because I have such a great team. So I went around with my team and I said, okay, this is what I've got to talk about to some really experienced sellers. How can they protect themselves? And I went to Ashley DePinto, who's one of our top paralegals, and she talked to me about creating your own private label because it gives you control over your product. It also gives you the ability to create warranties that will stop hijackers from selling your product and getting on your listing. We also talked about getting your own trademarks. You develop intellectual property rights that you actually own. And by doing this, you get brand registry. And then you need to take your product and figure out how to make your products outside of what's called the first sale doctrine. The first sale doctrine basically says that in America, you can buy and sell anything that you want as long as the consumer is receiving products that are not materially different. So what we do when we're helping build up private label brands is we help build something into your delivery of the product that takes it outside that. So other people cannot take over your listing. Other people cannot sell your products. Also, if you want to protect yourself, you need to protect yourself from your own factory. And a lot of people don't realize this. Your own factory is probably your number one risk because they'll do an extra run of your products and they'll sell it to other sellers who now all of a sudden they have exactly the same thing. So you need to have contract with your factories and you need to be able to enforce those contracts where the factories are located. A lot of people think they should make the contract enforceable in the United States or wherever they're located. And I think that's entirely wrong. If you want to stop hijackers, you need to be able to stop your factory. You need to do it on their home turf. Specifically in China, factory owners in China don't want any interaction with the government at all. So if you have a contract that says that you're going to enforce that deal in China courts, that is usually enough leverage to stop your factory from selling your product to other sellers. And Ashley DePinto is just an awesome member of our team. These are just great tips for you to protect yourself. Okay, now we also have 5 lawyers here. Okay, we're a pretty big operation protecting sellers, and we only focus on Amazon sellers. So David is the managing attorney of our team of people that writes plans of action, writes Amazon appeals, and also deals with intellectual property rights that are asserted against sellers. So I asked David, and we had a conversation, and he stressed how important it was. I mean, how vital it is for Amazon sellers to continuously monitor your listings. Now, it's pretty easy to do if you only have 5 or 10 ASINs, but once you're selling 20, 50, or 100 different products, it gets a little more difficult, and you may want to use a software solution. And the things you need to know about right now to protect yourself against what black hat guys are doing is you need to watch for people hijacking your listing and changing the title. And what hijackers are doing right now, every single day, is they're changing the title of your listings and adding their own name brand to that listing. And then they're actually making a complaint against you. Now, you created the listing, you have the genuine product, but by changing the title and adding their own brand to it, all of a sudden they argue that you're the one not delivering the consumer what the consumer should receive. So you want to make sure you're protecting yourself against this type of activity. And the easiest way to do it is just to take screenshots. Every day when you're checking your listings, whether you're doing it manually or using a software tool, just take a screenshot. So at any point in time, you can reach out to Amazon and show them exactly what the listing looked like for every single day up until that hijacker took over, okay? And you need to watch for changes in the verbiage of that listing, okay? You have to be diligent. You have to be zealous, okay? Watch for changes. When you see a change, it's a hijacker. Sometimes it's Amazon retail, but most of the time it is a hijacker who's going to set it up so that he or she can make a complaint against you. This is one of the things you need to worry about right now. This is what black hat guys are doing today. Okay, Vin, you know how Amazon has its escalation department? Vin Familaro leads our escalation department. When we have trouble getting a listing back on, we have trouble getting an Amazon seller reinstated, and that file has to be escalated, it goes to Vin Familaro. He's been with us for years. He's a remarkably bright guy and devoted to Amazon. If any of you guys are into watching streaming, he's also Vinny Fams, and he plays Call of Duty. He was the #1 guy for a while. So I asked him, I was like, okay, from the escalation department, what do you think people need to do to protect themselves against hijackers and black hatters? And he said to make sure you are keeping track of your financial accounts, your credit cards and your bank accounts, and whatever credit card you're using to pay Amazon's fees, and whatever bank account you're using for Amazon to make distributions, it should be an entirely separate account from every other aspect of your business. And certainly it should never be a personal account. And the reason why is like every 6 to 18 months, there's a slew of Amazon accounts that get hacked into where the money gets diverted to like Croatia or Costa Rica or wherever. And you want to make sure that the only thing that a hacker can catch if he gets into your Amazon account is that one account for Amazon, not your savings, not money you're using to pay your bills. So you want to make sure you use separate accounts. Also, been highly suggested trademark, just like Ashley and David talked about. Trademark gets you brand registry. If you don't have a trademark right now, go to uspto.gov. uspto.gov, file for your own trademark. You don't need a lawyer to do it. You can do it yourself, and then you're gonna have to wait a while. Or if you're a more established business and you really want to have a trademark now, I would suggest you contact a company called Empire Flippers. And I don't get anything from Empire Flippers, but they are the only business broker that I trust and I recommend. And they sell online businesses, and many of those businesses already own trademarks. So you might be able to buy a business that already has a trademark and start operating and selling goods under that mark, and then get brand registry, which gives you really good protection against other sellers. It doesn't give you any protection against Amazon itself. Amazon retail can always take over a listing, but get a trademark and then get brand registry. And that's some really good protection that Amazon sellers can get, right now.
In terms of the brand registry, CJ, is it required for a customer who has probably 5 to 10 ASINs to probably register, or is it you need to have probably maybe 50 ASINs or something like that?
No, brand registry doesn't require any specific number of products or listings. You can have one single product. It does require that you have a trademark. Okay. Now I'm in the United States, so we know how to get trademarks here, but there's a whole list of countries where you can get trademarks that Amazon will accept. Okay. I think if you're selling on .com in the US, and US trademark is clearly the best. But it doesn't require any number of listings, but it does require to have a trademark.
Is there a monthly fee associated with it, or is it a one-time fee?
To get a trademark in the US, it's a one-time fee. I think it's $250 per classification. There are 25 international classifications that apply throughout most of the world. China is vastly different. China has hundreds and hundreds of sub-classifications. But you're looking at, if you do it yourself, you're looking at roughly $250 per classification to get the trademark, and it's a one-time fee to the United States government.
Just to follow up with that question, so let's say if are you supposed to get the class or trademark under the parent category or probably under the subcategory which you're trying to sell into in Amazon.com?
Under the international classifications, you should get the trademark in whatever category you're selling in now. And also, you might as well get it in whatever classifications you plan on selling in the future. You know, if you're selling any type of product, right, whether it's an electronic product or health and beauty, right, you want to get it in that category. You probably also want to get it in the clothing category in case you want to sell t-shirts with your logo if your brand takes off. So you want to get it clearly in what you're selling and also plan a bit for the future.
Makes sense.
Okay, so Rob Siegel is a remarkable lawyer that works for us. He's our managing attorney when it comes to taking Amazon to arbitration, which is how you resolve issues when Amazon refuses to do things amicably. He also leads our team for private label brand protection, which is what we're really talking about today. And he suggested that you get brand registry even before you're selling. And I think that's a great idea if you're just starting out. But on the other, if you're selling now, it's never too late to get additional protection. Also, Amazon has this new program that has not really taken off the way we had hoped, the transparency program, which is Amazon working with smaller brands to develop a mechanism to make sure consumers are receiving the real deal, the real product. We have a specific rep at Amazon that Rob works with, so we can help sellers get on the transparency program. So he's a big proponent of doing this. So small and large, he suggests not just registering, but also trying to get involved in transparency. It does have a little bit of a cost, so lower margin items may not be feasible, but you certainly want to take a look at Amazon's transparency program. Okay, also, third point from Rob, and he's dealt with this many times, and I'm really proud of Rob. He has won every single case, and that's no guarantee he will win your case, but he's won every single case under Amazon's neutral patent evaluation program. It has to do with utility patents only, but if you're an inventor and you invented a new product and you have a patent on it, or a patent if you're in the UK, Amazon has a fantastic program where you pay a few $1,000s, and whoever's infringing upon your patent has to either also pay and participate, or they get removed. Now, let's say they want to fight you, okay? They put up a few $1,000s, and you make arguments in writing. It goes to a patent lawyer who then decides who's right and who's wrong. So if you have a utility patent and someone is infringing upon it, it's a really easy, cheap way to enforce your patent. And once you win in Amazon's neutral patent evaluation program, Amazon treats that decision the same as if a real court of law issued a decision. So it's a really great way if you have a utility patent to protect your sales, protect your account, and protect yourself from hackers. And the last point that I discussed with Rob is that when you are protecting your product, your listing, or your brand, don't file baseless complaints, okay? We deal with these all the time. You need to make sure that your complaints are carefully worded and you're only asserting intellectual property rights that you actually have. Don't get involved in being a black hatter yourself. Assert your claims carefully and assert claims that are real. Don't get involved in baseless complaints. It doesn't work out for you in the long haul.
So let's say, CJ, if there's a complaint which is filed, how long does it usually take for Amazon to resolve these issues? Is it a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Well, Amazon's system is really, in my opinion, tilted against sellers and in favor of brands. So if you write the complaint properly, Amazon will often take down that listing within hours, if not a day. They are really quick at taking down sellers and taking down sellers' listings, whether the complaints are valid or they're entirely baseless. So it really happens very, very quickly if you word it properly. Okay. And if you're making your own complaint on Amazon, I suggest two things. One, give the seller a notice, give them a heads up, send them a C&D, a cease and desist email saying, hey, you are violating our intellectual property rights, you hijacked our listings, please stop selling on your own so we don't have to make a complaint. Because as a seller, you know that you're putting their account at risk. Most sellers will stop selling your product if you give them the opportunity to do so. And if you do have to make that complaint, if you actually have to make the complaint, don't use the word authorization, don't use anything about distribution, don't talk about anything about pricing, solely focus on the real substance of the intellectual property right complaint, okay? It doesn't have the same warranty. It is a counterfeit product. It is outside the first sale doctrine. There's a trademark violation, but don't get into distribution, don't get into pricing, don't get into MAP. Solely focus on the IP issues and the real ones. Don't assert baseless ones. Okay, next is Kerry McDonald. Kerry was the first paralegal that my partner Anthony and I hired, and she is remarkably well educated and incredibly bright. And I talked to her, what do sellers need to know to protect themselves? And she said, material differences. She was all about the first sale doctrine. You have to build into your delivery of the product. You need to build into your product material differences that somebody else cannot sell and deliver your product. It could be the same exact mouse that gets delivered, but maybe the mouse, since it's being sold by a hijacker, doesn't have the same warranty. Maybe if you're selling this mug, and this mug is all about a lifestyle choice, that they cannot deliver the same copyright materials that you deliver. You want to put Amazon-only packaging, so that if somebody else is getting products from your factory, they're not getting your packaging. Amazon seems to love Amazon-specific packaging. You could also do certain add-on benefits, like a license to go onto your website, an ability to get coaching on how to use certain products, okay? These things take your products outside the first sale doctrine. It builds in a material difference when a customer is buying from you rather than a hijacker, and this will protect your sales from hijackers. And it also will give you the tools to contact that hijacker and explain to him or her why they should voluntarily stop selling your products. These are great, great tips. And Kerry, if you're watching this, thank you very much. You are a remarkable, huge asset to our team. Okay, Dana Rodriguez, okay? If you watch our YouTube channel, Rosenbaum Familaro, or you go to our Facebook page and watch our breaking news pieces or our website, you cannot watch our content without meeting Dana Rodriguez, because she helps me shoot tons and tons of videos for Amazon sellers. And she wanted me to talk about the power of filed copyrights, okay? Now, copyright is ownership of your images and your verbiage and how you create things, any creative work. If you paint something, if you create a whiteboard, if you some type of artistic rendition, a song, a jingle, the way that you write your listing, you automatically have a copyright interest in it, and you can stop other people from using your copyright. But if you actually file it with the United States government and you have a power of that copyright, it makes it really, really easy to get rid of hijackers when you can show Amazon that you own that image and you actually filed it with the Copyright Office. And again, you don't need a lawyer to do this. You can do it yourself. It is that easy to get filed copyright protection in the United States. Other countries might be more difficult. In the US, it is a piece of cake. You're filling out a form and submitting whatever it is that you're trying to protect. So Dana, this is a huge tip. And please, if you watch our videos, you cannot miss Dana. She is absolutely incredible. Okay, RJ. RJ is a very young lawyer. He just graduated law school. He sat for the bar exam a couple of months ago. He's going to find out in a couple of weeks whether he passed or not. And I am 100% certain he passed, although he seems a bit nervous. And so I talked to RJ and I said, okay, what do sellers need to know to protect themselves? And he's like, quality control. Build in quality controls to protect yourself against hijackers. And a lot of brands do this really well. They talk about how the products are stored, at what temperatures they're stored, how they're stored outside sunlight, okay? And these are things that other people are not going to do. He also reinforced Amazon-specific packaging is always incredibly useful when you're talking to Amazon. And you want to make sure that you let your consumers know who can deliver your products with the same warranty and same benefits. He thinks you put that right there on the listing, that if you're buying this from an authorized seller, you are getting advice. You're getting the ability to log into our website. You are receiving our copyright materials. And I think these are also huge tips. These are just another 3 tips that Amazon sellers can work into their private label brands to protect themselves from hijackers and from black hatters. 100% great tips, RJ. Okay, so the reason why I put up slides and pictures of our team is to recognize that we are the best because we have a lot of different, smart, well-educated people. We employ 20 or so people here in New York. We got 6 full-time people in China. We try and have somebody in Australia all the time, so we're working around the clock protecting sellers. And this is just a portion of our team because we've grown since this picture was taken. And I'd be remiss not to thank our team because that's what makes us the best. That's why we have the answers, because we collaborate, we all read, we all study, we all talk to sellers. And that's how we have this incredible list of ways that Amazon sellers can protect themselves from both hijackers and black hat tactics. And finally, if you are selling on Amazon, you are likely shopping on Amazon. And if you're shopping on Amazon, Amazon has an incredible program called the Amazon Smile Program. And this charity you see at the bottom of your screen, the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation, was started by a very, very close friend of mine and his incredible wife after they lost their son Ty to brain cancer. He fought for over 2 years to live, and the treatments were horrific. And eventually, he lost his battle and he passed. And so Cindy and Lou created this fantastic charity. They turned this awful experience into triumph and created this foundation that does nothing but raise money to find better treatments and, God willing, a cure for pediatric cancer. So if you don't have a charity of your own, please pick the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation. And whether you're picking the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation or not, make sure you're only shopping through Amazon Smiles. It doesn't cost the seller anything. It doesn't cost the consumer anything. It's a great program that Jeff Bezos created where Amazon sends money to the charity of your choice. So please use Amazon Smile Program. And if you don't have a charity of your own, please pick the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation.
That is a wonderful cause, CJ, and we will be glad to be part of the initiative. We will share it with our team, and we will share it with our members and our audience as well. Thank you, CJ, once again. Post the session, I'm sure Amazon sellers will be a lot more confident to handle policy violations, buyer complaints, and account suspensions. Amazon sellers now have a lawyer on their side to address these issues from a legal perspective, utilizing the law to pursue lost profit caused by an account suspension. We'll now move on to the question and answer session. We have picked out some most important questions and interesting questions sent out by our viewers. During the session, you are discussed in detail about infringement and intellectual property. When you receive the violation notice, it is very normal for anyone to panic and do things in a hurry. Any half-baked answers is not going to help you out. You might have experience in dealing with a lot of these instances. Can you give some tips on how we should definitely handle the situation?
Yeah, as soon as you receive the complaint, even before you call me or email me, send a quick email to the address of the person or company that made the complaint. Just write to them very simply. You received it, you take it very seriously, and you're going to be back in touch very soon. Show courtesy, show respect, even though it's aggravating you, even though it may have knocked you out of business. Okay? The person sending that email is just usually trying to do their job. Then, once you've notified them, do an evaluation or hire a lawyer, hire us to figure out whether you did or did not violate your intellectual property rights. Once you know that, then you want to negotiate for the complaint to be retracted. And all this happens within about an hour or so. It does not take a whole lot of time. And so let's say you were not violating their intellectual property rights. Then you want to get them to retract and show them you didn't violate trademark, you didn't violate copyright, you didn't violate anybody's patents. Their complaint is wrong and please withdraw it. On the other hand, if you were violating their rights, then you want to negotiate it differently, of course. And maybe you want to say, we're not going to do it again, or we didn't realize that you own this picture, or somebody else created the listing. And if you address whoever made the complaint with courtesy and respect, more often than not, they will withdraw the complaint, and then you get your Amazon account back very quickly. If the brand refuses to cooperate with you, then you want to write to notice dispute or seller performance. And again, with the same tactic, either we didn't violate their rights and they're being unreasonable, or we're not going to sell their product anymore. And within those two different paths, you're almost always going to be successful.
Is there a specific format you would use when you maybe send it to the customer, kind of informing them regarding this?
Well, the initial email is very short and sweet. We received it, we take it seriously. And again, I can provide this to any of your listeners, this short email, it's no big deal. The second one, we have a list, a checklist that we use that we review every product. We go through trademark, copyright, patents, utility and design patents, and what's called trade dress. And then we make sure our client's not violated because they're selling a genuine product. Then we formulate the letter. And we don't reinvent the wheel for every single client. So we have a letter that's pretty formulaic for this issue. When we are violating, then I think it takes a little more one-on-one personal interactions. You don't want to write anything where you admit to violating someone's IP rights. So in that you want to have more of a conversation. So that's what I'd recommend. First is short, simple, and sweet. Then if you're not violating, it's kind of formulaic. If you are violating, you have to think about it a bit more and let them know who they are. Like big brands have no interest in putting people out of business. That would make the brand look poorly instead of good. So if you are violating, you have to really let them know who you are and why the brand should withdraw to protect the brand's reputation.
That definitely makes sense. One of the scariest things is when your account is terminated due to IP infringement. In this case, what I understand is to put a detailed plan of action together as to how you're going to avoid these happening in the future. What are your views on the same thing?
I agree with you 100%. One of the things you want to make sure you're going to do is you're going to check the forums, you're going to check with the brands, you're going to review the product's website, you're going to review the warranty. You want to make sure the product you're selling is exactly what's available in the brick and mortar store and also what customers receive from Amazon, because as sellers develop Amazon specific packaging, sometimes they're different, okay? So you want to check all those things and just keep really good records of the efforts that you take in order to protect Amazon's consumers. And that's how you have to refer to them. Amazon likes to own everything on the planet. So you got to call them Amazon's customers.
As we see more and more bots responding to your appeals and responses, is there any short way to get these accounts reinstated on a usual basis?
Well, there's nothing that's sure shot. There's nothing that's 100%. And if you visit some of our competitors, our non-lawyer competitors, and they guarantee you 100%, they are absolutely lying, okay? But if you follow the steps, this is what works. We know what works is we deal with it thousands of times a year. So if you follow these steps, nothing is a sure shot. Amazon is an erratic place to do business. But this is what works in the vast majority of cases. And if someone's telling you it's 100% guaranteed, look someplace else because they're not telling you the truth.
We did talk about complaints during a session. What are some of the precautions these sellers should take to prevent inauthentic complaints?
You need to first make sure that you're sourcing your products someplace that's reliable, okay? If you're buying products and like the packaging colors are different, don't buy them. if the wholesale price is too cheap, it's probably not the real deal. And Amazon sellers, as well as Amazon itself, gets caught up in this. If the deal is too good to be true, it probably is. And you just want to be as careful as you can. But the reality is, when it comes to inauthentics, there's really nothing you can do to prevent Amazon to asking where you sourced your product from. Okay, they ask this routinely. So usually if it's just an inauthentic, you're not going to lose your account. And you just need to maintain good invoices so you can at least respond to that request very, very quickly.
Recently Amazon started collecting their sales tax instead of hoping that the sellers would remit and file sales tax in 23 states. How do you think this will actually affect in terms of the business model?
I think it's actually going to help sellers tremendously. Okay, number one, you're lowering your potential liability. There are almost 10,000 different sales tax venues in the United States. 10,000, right? So sellers aren't filing because they can't afford to file 10,000 different tax returns. Also, I think it's going to make it a level playing field where it'll be more even for large sellers versus small because somebody else is taking on that task for you. So I think it's great. I think Amazon should be doing it in all 50 states plus the territories. Okay. So I think this is a really great step that Amazon's finally taking. And I think this is going to be helpful for sellers large and small.
CJ, now we have come to the end of the session. We hope our viewers know what to do in case of suspension and to prevent measures ensure that they don't receive complaints in the place. Thank you, CJ, for your time and helping out the sellers to understand with this immense experience. Any last comments, CJ?
I just want to thank you for including me among the incredible speakers, the incredible program that you've put together. I'm honored to be included among the group of Ashlyn Haddon and John Lawson and the other speakers that you have. And these are the top people in the field. So thank you for including me in this absolutely elite group of people.
CJ, thank you once again. We wish you all the best for all the great work you're doing by protecting the rights of Amazon sellers. Follow us on our social media accounts and regular updates you can check out for EliteConf.com for more details about the conference. Thank you, and once again, see you guys again.